No, off to the same old grind and such. So forth. There's always a best, no matter what path I take. Oh, this place needs a lot of work. Anyway, think about what I got to do this summer. A lot of janitorial work in the literal sense. So anyway, cleaning up the pyrrho crap. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with. I'll read some comments, I suppose. Well, Pyrrho explained what he means by spiritual in a comment, so I'll just deal with that and just relate it to the context of what rational conversation requires. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to go next. Clearly, these people just don't know what evolution is. Pyrrho had a whole hour-long conversation with the Kirk guy, and neither one of them were on planet Earth for more than milliseconds at a time. Microbes are controlling our brains, all kinds of just wacky crap, and you're just, where do they get this shit from? Where do they make this crap up? You just want to say pothead and drunk. Yeah, what drugs are you assholes on? Crack much? I mean, there's nothing to say. Fuck. Anyway, I shouldn't even have thought of it because it just creates immediate dissidence. So what really has to be done here is, I could go on a spiel about evolution, and I will go on a spiel about evolution over and over again because it's such an important concept. And but yeah, none of these people, they pay no. One of them's a biologist. He pays no attention. Just no. He must have paid. I don't know how the fuck he could have a job as a biologist when, well, obviously he doesn't anymore. Maybe for good reason. Because yeah, they don't seem to understand conceptually what's going on at all. What evolution is. Just no clue. And it's just silly. Just make this shit up. There's a ton of facts. There's a ton of reality to dissect. And they're just keep turning over rocks looking for Santa Claus. They're not looking for the truth. They're trying to find something that looks a little bit like Santa Claus. Anything, a slug, anything they can squint their eyes hard enough, they can turn into Santa Claus. There are no sincere investigation. They're just looking for any two things that they can shove together to make a picture of Santa Claus. So anyway, it's just revolting. I mean, I can't, it's revolting. It's just sickening to see brains do this. Based on an absence of 5th grade earth science, can get you through this. Grammar school science can give you enough information to realize that's nonsense. So where do I want to go? So anyway, Pyrrho's definition of spirituality is the feeling you get when everything's right in the world. Yeah, I can understand the feeling I get when, I'm shooting baskets and I can't miss. I'm in the zone. Is that spiritual? Because I'm in the zone. So now we're going to call the zone spiritual. We're back to the, unniggering nigger bullshit. Why don't you call it spirita? Spiriata. Why don't you call it something else? Why don't you put an A on the nigger word and then say it's all okay? So yeah, put a little A or an iota on your spirit crap and see how that works out for you. It's just silly little. It's a kid's naming game, and you people think you're philosophers. So I'm going to really. I almost am compelled to say maybe I'll just post videos without comments because it's just a pain in the ass to ban anybody because it doesn't work. But there are these things like the Adam Nut and the Vivian or whatever the fuck she is. I mean, these people are just whacked. I'm not going to have a conversation with you whacked lunatics. Comment somewhere else. If you're going to comment on my videos, I'm going to block you, or I'm not going to allow comments. Because I don't want to hear your drivel. Okay? You're psychotic. You're insane. You're crazy. You're obviously on medications. You know, that's your problem. I have no obligation to explain you out of your deluded psychologies. Okay, you're crazy fuckers, go away. Be crazy somewhere else. I really don't have time for crazies. Yeah, so you got the Adam one. There's another one in there too. They're just whack. They're wasting my time. And the only people that comment on the videos are the crazy fucks. So what's the fucking point? Yeah, so I have to think about a strategy. Anyway, so yeah, evolution. Big words, fancy font, I don't care. Do something with it to understand this is a big word. It means a tremendous amount. It's incredibly relevant to your configuration. It defines who you are in so many ways, and it's cause and effect. It's deterministic, mechanistic, and it's shaped you into a reflexive organism. That means shit happens, your body and brain processes the shit, and it reacts. There's no spirit, there's no magic, it's a mechanical function, and nowhere in the design of that function is there any magic fingers that go toosh, and those sparks fly and we have spiritual. No, that's not what's happening. It's a mechanism to create feeding parasitical machines, and that's what we are. We're a feeding parasitical machine. We're obviously sucked the black blood out of the earth. There's so many ways I could metaphor the parasitism, even on our own kind. We have chained them up to push the wagons. You know, you're just not getting how this thing functions, what the word means. You have the entire mechanism is devoted to that one function. There's a seed in you, okay, half of a seed, and the whole point is to plant it. That's how you're designed, and to plant it in a fertile, you know, most likely to succeed kind of manner. Not sloppy, not short-sighted. All those things have been eliminated through billions of years of refinements. And so you're quite eccentric, quite nuanced in your reflexive reactions, but that's all you are, is a reflexive reaction. In many cases, your first impression is a feeling. Your brain does something with it. It measures it against other things you're feeling and thinking and worrying about, and you know, have stored in your memory bank, and it processes out a reaction. And that's all it is. And all these words I'm speaking are exactly the same thing. They're all composed based on reactivity and the learned over time which words are appropriate to the circumstance. And so the appropriate word, based on my education through life, my life experience, is shoved. I didn't use put, I didn't use placed, I used shoved, because that's how I've learned to put emphasis on words. I've learned this shit. It didn't come from spirit, it didn't come from a paramecium, it didn't come from the vortex of the black hole, it didn't come from any of that shit. It came from an isolated evolution on an isolated planet deep in the fucking depths of nowhere in the universe. And that's all it is. Reflexive chemistry. There's no deeper story. You have to play on that checkerboard. All right? And if you're unwilling to do that, then you're just going to be talking out of your ass. You're just going to be talking out of made up Henny Penny or Goldilocks or gingerbread houses. You're just going to make up crap and live by it. And I say that's a destruction of mentality. It's a waste of brain. You're right. I'm just going to call you an idiot, an asshole, and a jackass, and a menace. You shouldn't be let anywhere near the steering wheel of the bus because you're crazy. You're full of deluded nonsense. It's a methodical, mechanistic reality here. And what we have gleaned out of it in our distant perspective now, our capacity to hold a context inside of our brain, a big model, is that we can reduce it and reduce it and reduce it. And what it ultimately reduces to in terms of value is that sentient beings can feel good and they can feel bad. And that it's better that they not feel bad. That's all you can say with certainty. Feeling good is great, but if you're going to feel good by enslaving somebody, that's not going to be good, because that's not going to add up mathematically. Bad, bad, bad plus good does not equal good. And it's really, that's it. This is not complicated. A process of competitive evolution has created sentient organisms that feel good and bad as a motivational device. And we can know it's better they feel good than bad. There, we have our starting platform. If you can't accept that, you're in fantasy land. If you're not looking at that, you're deluded. If you can't recognize that, you're broken. You're not logical. It's an overwhelming, undeniably evidenced fact that that's all this is. There was no initiator, there was no planner, there's no hidden architecture running us. We can see it in the animal organism. We can see the different psychologies in the different organisms suited for different behavior, for a different method of survival. We can see that all of them are constructed for their mentality and their physiology to match each other so they can be a good predator, or they can be a functional prey, or they can be whatever niche they're capitalizing on. Their beaks can lengthen, their beaks can shorten, their beaks can get harder, their beaks can get softer. All this shit can happen. Turtle shells get humpier and lumpier and bumpier because they eat higher plants or lower plants. This is all we are. We're configurations adapted to environmental circumstances. And we have taken us, this physiology, out of its natural environment, and it hasn't had time to evolve to the civilization it lives in. It has to some extent. Maybe we can control our pooping and pissing, more than Cro-Magnon man could have. Maybe we have adapted to some extent, but many of those adaptations are just weaknesses. Of the fact that we have taken out of the game the selection process. In many respects, you don't have to earn your survival anymore. It will be provided to you by infrastructure, by civilization. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a negative impact on the strength and character of the organism, not to have some selection. But selection is a brutal, unyielding, unfair, fundamentally undeserved process. It's nasty, it's cruel, It's crude. But there really isn't any alternative. There really isn't any other way to do this. It's not a game that can be played by intelligence. It can only be played by monkeys. And you people want to be monkeys with bombs. So anyway, so much to say. But it's got to be said in an educational form, I guess. Somehow I need to lock these people into their goddamn desks and force them to answer the questions on the quiz. Because these people don't have clue one as to how up, down, right, left works. Forward, back. Throw that in. Yeah, you're just not on the right planet. Deluded loonies. Ooh, that pool water's looking. Ooh, that's looking bad. I have to work. I mean, maybe I can persuade them to open early, even though the weather's getting cold. Tadpoles everywhere. They're all doomed. Yeah, this is a failed evolutionary strategy. Yep. They're all gonna get pumped into the wind. Yeah. Probably 1 million of them in here. Alright, this might be a high number. There's a lot. Let's see. If I just circle that, probably 100 per foot. I'll have to do an addition. Anyway, the next time. Yeah, that's your god. Kooks and such.